The hat offers several stuffing opportunities. When you work double knitting, if you don't accidentally twist your layers, the two fabrics are actually separate from one another, except where this green yarn crosses over and comes to this side. So at this point the yarns cross over like this. This creates a boundary along the edges of each of the colour blocks. So if I want extra insulation in the top of this hat, before I perform the next round, which is a rib in one colour only, if I take the time and divide my stitches onto receiving needles, and these don't have to be the full gauge size, but I usually use smaller needles, it makes it slightly easier. Now I can look inside. Sometimes with a fluffy yarn like this, you might find your two layers have adhered to one another. But if you've managed to keep your increases untangled, you should be able to put stuffing almost up to the tip of the hat. And what you use for stuffing depends on what you have available. If you happen to have some unspun fleece, then that's ideal. If you just simply want to get rid of the nasty brown colour and have some leftover brown yarn, or whichever colour you don't like, you can tuck that up inside. Obviously we're not trying to make pillows out of these, we're just adding extra insulation. Now we'll remount these stitches onto the left hand needle, and we must make sure we put them back in sequence, so it's far stitch, near stitch, because my pairs go near far, and I'll keep going until I've put all my stitches back on the needle. Once I've stuffed a section, I can carry on in colour B, and the round is just a straightforward rib round. You may notice that my stitches on my pearl layer are mounted strangely or wrong, depending on your point of view. I have a tendency to do alternative purl when I'm double knitting, and so I just make sure when I purl those stitches, I purl them so they don't twist. I'm trying to remember to purl conventionally as I do this round. Once I've ribbed across here, my little pocket with my brown yarn in it is all sealed up and it's in there forever. I would rib across this pocket, then I'd stuff the next pocket, and so on until I've done all 8 segments of the hat. So I've completed ribbing that across that section, and now I'm going to open up this section and stuff this. Another stuffing opportunity occurs before the start of round 11. So on completion of 10, if you divide your layers up, you can take these first 2 stitches as if they were one, because these are not going to divide, and then separate the next 10 stitches, 5 at the front and 5 at the back. We again have a little pocket that we can stuff. Now this is definitely fiddly, and only for those who are seriously determined to be warm. But if we open up this little pocket at this point, and we don't necessarily have to go all the way to the end, and take a little piece of yarn, and it's probably preferable to have a piece of yarn that coordinates with the colour of the hat, and then there's no risk of the colour peeping through. Tuck the stuffing inside, remount the stitches, and work round 11, which is a rib round in colour B, which locks the stuffing in place. So that's a little overstuffed and you can see the stuffing in there, but a little piece of fleece would certainly make it warmer.